We're happy to welcome all of you who are listening on radio via WeFM. We've got Vibes FM, Spice Capital Radio. We've got Talk Grenada. We also have 100.5 FM out of Labby in Grenville, right along out of Brooklyn, New York, and of course the NDC Facebook online platform. And we back on YouTube. So we want to welcome you to another beautiful Sunday afternoon in Grenada. And for today's program, we'll be chatting with the Attorney General. That's Senator the Honorable Claudette Joseph, and she's also responsible for Labor and Consumer Affairs. We'll be chatting about several very interesting matters which are of national interest. So we'll be back with you in a moment. Stay with us.
Get in here, get in here, get in here, people. Where are we going the 1st of June? This is this Sunday. We are heading across to Munich for the biggest cricket tournament ever hosted in St. Andrews. So we're talking from 11 to 3:30 p.m. we will be having lovely cricket. So come out in your numbers to Munich playing field for the biggest cricket tournament ever. Come out and support the bars. Come out and support the cricketers. Come out with your families. Come out with your friends, because we are inside Munich for the biggest cricket tournament ever. Get in here, get in here, get in here, people.
On the behalf of Supreme Entertainment, we'd like to invite everyone to the opening of the Munich T12 cricket competition. It started on Sunday, May 25th, and continues every Sunday until August.
Murder 2 for the NDC St. Patrick East and West Annual. On Saturday, June 14th, get ready as the NDC St. Patrick's East and West presents their annual night cruise. Their annual night cruise aboard the Rum Runner 2. Let's get ready to sail the seas with the National Democratic Congress, St. Patrick's East and West, DJ Danny. With the best music to keep you rocking on the boat. Tickets $75 and includes eat. Boarding time 7 p.m. Boat sales at 8. And a solid bar awaits you. So gather your crew and gather your posse. And let's head aboard the Rum Runner 2 for the NDC St. Patrick East and West Annual Night Cruise. Saturday, June 14th. Get your tickets at the NDC office, Main Street, Satel. Or you can call 449-3275 for more info. NDC, putting people first. Jobs, healthcare, and empowerment.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's that time again. Get ready to turn up the energy and celebrate in style as NDC St. John proudly presents the most anticipated event of the summer. It's Shake It to the Max. Shake It to the Max, the night cruise, all going down on Friday, June 20th. We take the vibe to another level. We celebrate another anniversary through transformation, a journey of progress, power, and pure party energy. We board the Kayak Princess on the Lance Jetty in Guam. Boarding time 7 p.m. and we sail 8 p.m. sharp. The hottest DJs will be on board. Selector Shakib, DJ I, Top Sound, Anil, and Juvie. Get your tickets for only $75. Get yours now from any St. John.
This Father's Day, celebrate with rhythm and culture at We Pan Fest, Sunday 15 June from 4 p.m. to 9 p.m. on the Carenage. Enjoy your favorite steel bands, Next and New Dimension, Republic Bank Angel Harps, Last Pan Wizards, Corp Bank Comancheros, alongside performances from Dash, Black Adan, Rootsman Kelly, Temptress, Chaos, LED, Young Pert, Young Mad, and DJ Danny. Food, drinks, and local products on sale. Admission is free. Celebrate Dad in true Grenadian style at We Pan Fest, hosted by Senator Claudette Joseph and the town community. It's We Pan Fest, Pedestrian Plaza, the Carenage, Sunday, June 15th.
Welcome back to the NDC Heartbeat for today's Sunday. We will be Just bringing you up to speed on what's been happening in Grand Etang. You may have noticed last week and so forth that lots of works taking place there. As the community is concerned, these works were in the making only just a few months ago. And it is really, really exciting to see what has taken place, the transformation that has taken place in Grand Etang after eons, decades of it not being attended to. The NDC administration has now partially corrected that. Much more work needs to be done, but transformation in progress. So stay with us. We're back with you in just a moment.
Motorists traveling along the Grand Etang route are welcoming the government's ongoing road widening and drainage project, which addresses long-standing issues such as narrow corners and poor visibility. The project comes in response to damage caused by Hurricane Beryl in July 2024, which brought down trees and utility poles. Chief Technical Officer in the Ministry of Infrastructure, Kevin Blash, during a recent interview indicated that the project was designed to improve the Grand Etang Road after devastation by Beryl. Blash confirmed that the work is ongoing and includes plans to widen bridges and corridors, ultimately allowing for two-lane traffic throughout the route.
Another piece of the puzzle is to widen some of those very narrow bridges over the Grand Etang Road. To the persons who are familiar, who pass there probably once, twice a day, they would know some of those very tight bridges. For example, there is one just as you leave close to the Grand Etang Lake. There's one that you could see some of the cobalts that fell down there. There's another one close to St. Margaret's Falls. There is one very close to, or just as you leave Birch Grove. And then there's another one a little bit further down in Birch Grove, close to a place where a few years ago Smoko used to have a shop. So all of these things, it makes it a little difficult for drivers, tricky for trucks and so on. So it's really that's just some of the plans we have for the Grand Etang Road in particular.
During a site visit on Monday, our news team observed work being carried out on a sharp corner between the area known as 1910 and the Grand Etang House, one of the most critical sections identified for widening. Drivers expressed their appreciation for the improvements, noting that the increased visibility and ease of access have already made travel safer and more convenient.
I think that's a wonderful project. And it's good for pedestrian, and as a matter of fact, it's better for the traffic. And I think that should have been done long, since in the NMP regime. And since this new Prime Minister coming, I think he's doing a lot of good things for the country, and I appreciate the road and stuff like this.
Now, well, I believe that the widening of the road was much needed. I think that it is very good for motorists. It makes the passageway a lot more easier to maneuver. The corners was a bit tricky to walk out as a motorist, So I don't pass this road very often, but whenever I do pass here, I have to use a little bit extra caution, But the widening of the road now, I think, is a much needed project, overdue, and I appreciate it very much.
The long-anticipated asphalting of the Grand Etang roadway in areas where the road widening and drains have completed has also commenced. The initiative is being seen as a significant step forward in enhancing infrastructure and ensuring safer travels for all road users. For MTV News, Troy Gill.
Welcome back to the NDC podcast for today's Sunday. And in studio with me is Senator the Honorable Claudette Joseph. She is the Minister responsible for Legal Affairs, Labor, Consumer Affairs, and she's also the Attorney General. But before I invite her now to the set, let me just remind those of you who are heading out to Munich for the cricket is that the teams playing today will be Mamikans, Latouche, and Westerhall. So go on out, give them your support, and make that event out at Munich Playing Field a success today. So let me welcome you once again, Madam Attorney General,
Hi, good day,
to the
Terry.
NDC Heartbeat. It's a
Good
pleasure.
to be here. Good day,
Yeah.
Terry, and good afternoon to all of our faithful Heartbeat listeners, including those who might have joined the program for the first time. Welcome to Heartbeat.
Great, thank you very much. And I omitted to say that Senator Joseph is also the caretaker for the Tongue of St. George.
Yes.
Exciting
I trust
place.
that I'm taking good care of the town.
Absolutely. Well, we'll be talking all about that later on in the program. So welcome to the Heartbeat, and
Thank
it's
you.
good of you to take the time off. I know you have a very packed schedule.
Yes, I just actually returned yesterday evening from the International Labour Conference in Geneva.
Right. Well, maybe
Yeah.
we should start off with this. How did the International Conference on Labour went in Geneva?
Yes, thanks for asking. Well, it's going
Yeah.
because it's a 2-week conference.
Oh, it's a 2-week conference.
It's held at the United Nations building headquarters and the ILO headquarters
Right.
in Geneva,
Right.
with 187 countries participating. And it is the annual conference of labor, comprising all the partners in labor,
Right.
workers, employers, and government. That's the tripartite arrangements that makes up labor
Great.
under the International Labour Convention.
Right.
And there are some new and emerging areas that captured the focus of the conference this year. And the one that Grenada has been particularly involved with, attending all the sessions, is a new standards and a new structure that the ILO is working on to treat with what is called a platform economy. That which we know as, yes, the platform economy. And that's what we know as workers, online workers, service providers, employees operating from online platforms. So you're talking Uber.
Yep.
And the
All
delivery
online
services,
workers.
yeah,
Yeah,
all the
interesting.
online workers,
So I was about to
digital
ask
economy.
you, what
Yeah.
kind, the public may want to know what kind of benefits does the ILO present or provide to Grenada?
Oh,
Because in the past, Grenada hardly used to attend these ILO conferences and conventions.
Yeah.
But I realize that you have been attending them.
Yes.
So share with us what kind of benefits Grenada can anticipate from this organization.
well, let me start by saying that in the past, Grenada has been severely shortchanged by previous ministers for labor not tapping into and taking advantage of the various benefits that come with being a member of the ILO. We have been, as a country, a member of the ILO since 1979. And then there's the conference that takes place annually. It's similar to COP for the environmentalists, or the United Nations General Assembly. That's the UN meeting for labor. That's the convention for the UN Convention for Labor. And the last time before last year that Grenada attended was 1998. I believe Sir Lawrence Joseph was the Minister for Labor then.
Right.
And Grenada had not attended again. When we attended last year, we realized that we were missing out on a lot of opportunities that the ILO offers to its member countries. And also, we were actually on the blacklist, so to speak, because we had not been meeting several of our convention obligations as a nation. And when you're not meeting the obligations, when you are in the black book, it's difficult to access the benefits and opportunities that are available. So one of the first things we did was to set about bringing ourselves into the good books.
Okay.
So we had to come up with 18 reports that we had not submitted We had not been reporting since 2015. The last time we submitted a report was 2015. So we brought ourselves into the good books,
Right.
so
and
to speak.
These reports consist of what
They-
kind of reporting?
Yes, they consist. There are certain protocols dealing with ensuring that your local legislation, for example, comply with certain obligations under the convention. So things like occupational safety and health, equal pay for equal work. You know, it was a varied. It's about 18. I can't remember all of them now.
But they're all
But
related to labor.
All related to
opportunities
labor and
regulations.
our reporting obligations.
Right.
Right, to ensure that things like child labor and so to ensure that you are not only have some of these things on the books, but that you are implementing
Right.
as well. So you must report periodically as to where you are and to make provisions to ameliorate the areas that you are not so compliant with.
Right.
So what we've done in terms of reporting, we are now up to date with all our reporting obligations. And I must say too, when you go to the international conference and your country is not listed on the good side or in the good books, it's an embarrassing situation for you, because if one of your partners, say the unions or employers or so, lodge a complaint with the ILO, it could be a source of tremendous embarrassment for the country.
Right.
Right? And so we did not address the conference last year when we attended. And that was one of the reasons, because we would have had too much explaining to do. So we took this year to bring ourselves into good standing and also to tap into some of the benefits that the ILO offers.
Right.
In this short space of time, we got assistance from the ILO to conduct a labor market analysis to see where we are with employment, the various categories, areas of focus, and that was done. And the report, there were some very telling aspects of the report. One of the most telling things is that the report showed that our government, even without such a high-level scientific study, were on the right track in focusing on, for example, skills training and skills development.
Right.
It showed that in terms of unemployment, the lowest area are skilled workers. So the people who have a skill, who are trained in some area, they are the most employed people, male and female.
Yeah.
It also interestingly shows that while women are more educated than men generally, both in terms of secondary and tertiary education, you have a larger number, percentage of women being educated than our male counterparts. Men are still more employed
Because
than
of
women.
skills training.
No, not because of skills training. Because
What is the criteria?
it just shows that there is still
Disparity?
and inequality in the society. It just shows that because with the skilled workers,
Yeah.
the men and women are equally employed. In terms, say you have about 70, almost 80-something% skilled females working,
Right.
the same will apply for men. But when you look at the education level, you find women are more educated, more women finish secondary
So-
school, more women finish TAMCC, more women have degrees.
While
But-
that is true,
But more men are working.
while that is true, would you therefore say that the disparity therefore is on the other side?
Meaning?
Meaning that men who have more skills,
No,
women
no,
are
no.
up to par with employment.
No. The men are not, the men are not more skilled, right? The men are not necessarily more skilled,
Right.
right?
Okay.
You find more males, right? In the skill sector,
Yeah, of course.
technical and
Construction,
vocational
et
sector,
cetera.
construction, whatever. You find more males there,
Yep.
and the males who are there, they are very employed.
Yep.
There's hardly unemployment in that sector.
Right.
And it also shows that the females who are there, although they are less than male, they are also very employed.
Yeah.
But in a
But they're
more
more highly educated.
not the skilled ones, in a more global setting, workers in general,
Yeah.
whether skilled or unskilled,
Yes.
you find the women
Yeah. It's
are
a fact.
more educated.
It's a fact.
That's what
Well, we
the
see
report
it in
shows.
society today.
Yes.
You drive along and you watch the students coming from SGU. 90% are women.
Women, right? So that
it's
to
a
me
fact.
that to me was a very interesting
That's a fact.
outcome. But so the ILO in helping us with that survey and analysis is assisting us as a government with focusing our attention, where we should focus our attention
Right.
in terms of making our population more suitable, prepared, and ready for the job market, matching the needs to how we train our people.
Right.
So that was one thing. The other area in which we got assistance is with the amendments to the labor code, where we are pretty much done with the work. There is one little area involving the dispute resolution mechanism that we are working on getting on the same page with the unions.
Right.
That is just the only outstanding matter with the dispute resolution, with the amendment to the labor code. We have agreed on everything else. When I say we, I mean the tripartite arrangement, workers, employers, and government. The only area is that the composition and structure of the new dispute resolution mechanism. We are not 100%. For the most part, we are agreed, but we are not 100% agreed on that with the unions in particular.
Right.
So we're working on that with the unions, and I'm sure very, very soon we will come to a point where we reach consensus with them, and we will take that amendment to the Parliament. So we are done with the actual work. So it's just once we agree with the unions on that little aspect of the dispute resolution, we make the necessary change in the law, and then we take it forward to Parliament.
Right. Now, how appreciative are the leadership of the various unions are with respect to the initiative of government to get back in a stronger relationship with the International Labour Organization?
So,
are they expressing
yes,
appreciation?
Yes, indeed, because part of what has to happen under the ILO Convention, the government is responsible for meeting the expenses associated with attending the conference. So while they get a lot of training, like our commissioner, our labor officers and so, have been getting a lot of training.
Right.
And that is complements the ILO itself. But when it comes to attending the ILO conference, the expense for that is to be borne by government. And I think that's one of the reasons why government has not been attending. But you breach the convention when you don't.
Yeah.
And in order to be fully accredited to attend the conference, there must be representative from the tripartite arrangement. So there must be union representative, there must be employers representative, and there must be government representative. And we were able to do that last year and this year. And this year, President of the Trade Union Council, Senator Andre Lewis, represented he is representing because
so he's still out there.
Yes, I returned home, but the Labor Commissioner, Mr. Lewis, and Miss Abini Telesford, oh gosh, I hope I got her surname right. I think she's representing the employers, and they are out there doing a good job at representing the various components of the labor representation in Grenada. And you know, in the last week we traveled together, all of us, and so I've had opportunity to have various chats with Mr. Lewis, and he's very appreciative on behalf of his members that we have we've done this. We know it's a new experience because this is his first International Labour Conference. Yes, because we hadn't gone since 1998. Right. So this is his first.
You mean the Senator Lewis, the champion of Labour in Grenada. This is his first attendance to an international Labour organization conference?
Yes, because...
This is unbelievable.
Yes, it is. It is
unbelievable.
Because you see, the previous government, including the past Labour minister, I can't help but say the past Labour minister, who they like to say is the people's man and the workers, whatever, he didn't do it, right? But this is this first, and he's expressed, it's really a good experience. It's not something we should miss because we are present out there when you attend. Your country is known. The Labour Commissioner made an intervention at one of the meetings. She spoke up and made a point at one of the meetings. And after the meeting, a gentleman came to her and showed on his phone, is this where you're from? He's never heard about Grenada.
Wow.
He's never heard about Grenada.
You're promoting the tourist destination one time.
He said, is this where you're from? Is this the country? So he Googled it right in the meeting there when he heard her speak. And I made my presentation to the plenary. And then somebody came to me and showed me the ILO. Oh, you're up on the ILO website. They're highlighting Grenada. They're saying, what a proud moment it is for Grenada to address this. It's equivalent to say addressing the UN. That's so it's at that level.
It's important that you're highlighting this because when people talk about they're traveling here, they're traveling there, traveling. It is of importance to be at the table where decisions are made.
Yes.
Otherwise, you get left off.
Otherwise, you do get left. And, and it's not many Caribbean countries out there with their voices. So you're talking about the usual Trinidad, Barbados, Jamaica, Bahamas. In terms of the Eastern Caribbean, it's just Grenada and St. Lucia.
Wow.
The others are missing. And last year, it was just Grenada. Of the small islands.
Why do you think they're missing?
I can't speak for them. I can't say, but I suspect expense might be part of it because it's quite an investment to participate in these activities. But you do get the benefits, and we saw it very quickly in Grenada because we were able to tap into and say, we need you to help us with this. We need you to help us with that. Another thing that the ILO is in the midst of assisting us with. And they've done quite a lot of work already, is setting up a public employment services, right? Public employment services agency, mind you, provided for under the Employment Act, but nobody has done it before.
Okay.
Right? Ministry of Labour is supposed to set up an employment services agency to help people transition to the world of work. And so, instead of they made a set of papi show with the money, this, that, all kind of thing, instead of setting up a proper agency that will be a proper avenue through which job seekers transition.
Okay, so like a special bureau.
Yes.
Right.
So they've done a lot of the work already. They've done all the assessment, they've done the structure, they've assisted us with coming up with a structure, and so that is something we're looking forward to rolling out. With the continued support of the ILO. So trust me, Terry, the benefits of being active in the International Labour Organization are tremendous and inexhaustive.
Wow.
You can keep tapping and tapping and tapping, but you have to take up your seat at the table. You have to be present.
Yep.
So I would never have thought that of the 187 countries present and all the various ministers for labour and ambassadors and so getting up and addressing the plenary, I would never have thought that they would have picked my speech to highlight on the ILO website, So to me, it's wonderful for Grenada.
Congratulations.
Yes,
congratulations.
thank you.
But what I'm picking up out of that is the harmonious relationship that is obvious between the Ministry of Labour and the unions. And to have the head of the union, a champion of labour for so many decades in the Senate, and this is his first attendance at the ILO. It speaks volumes for the smooth, harmonious relationship that exists between Labour and the Ministry of Labour.
Yes, sir, because
so congratulations. Take your bow.
But we understand that to have a prosperous society, right? To move forward, because we came into office on a platform of transformation. You can't transform, you can't grow, you can't evolve if you have a chaotic society, if you have stakeholders and significant stakeholders at that uneasy, unhappy, dissatisfied. If you have disharmony, we would not always agree on things, even in the process of doing the amendments to the labor code. We had a lot of back and forth. We didn't always agree. We compromised. Sometimes we compromise. Sometimes the workers' side compromise. Sometimes the employers compromise, because we have representative of all three bodies on the labor advisory board. And so you wouldn't always agree. But what we know is that at the end of the day, we want what's best for Grenada.
Fantastic.
We all want what's best for Grenada and what's in the best interests of all the people of Grenada. And we agree, whether we are government, whether we are employers, whether we are union leaders, we all agree on that.
Great.
So I can say for the most part, we have been able to work together in this last 2.5 years. We've dealt with all the issues that we inherited, that the workers of Grenada had, in terms of whether it's pension or the dock salaries or the outstanding payment to TAMCC. All of these matters, we treated with these matters and resolved them to everybody's satisfaction. And in all cases, there were some give and take. And I think generally we have a good relationship, and we are continuing to build on that.
Well, I would like to see our local media grill Senator Lewis on his return.
I'm sure he will have a lot to say.
So that they can really dig into how he feels about his attendance at the ILO and the relationship that exists between Grenada and its workers and the unions. But we're going to take a short break at this time, and when we come back, we want to talk about the upcoming participation of Grenada in the IP assemblies.
Yes.
So back in a moment.
This Father's Day, celebrate with rhythm and culture at We Pan Fest, Sunday 15 June from 4 p.m. to 9 p.m. on the Coronage. Enjoy your favorite steel bands, Next and New Dimension, Republic Bank Angel Harps, Last Pan Wizards, Corp Bank Comancheros, alongside performances from Dash, Black Adan, Rootsman Kelly, Temptress, Chaos, LED, Young Pert, Young Mad, and DJ Danny. Food, drinks, and local products on sale. Admission is free. Celebrate Dad in true Grenadian style at We Pan Fest, hosted by Senator Claudette Joseph and the town community. It's We Pan Fest, Pedestrian Plaza, the Coronage, Sunday, June 15th.
On Saturday, June 14th, get ready as the NDC St. Patrick's East and West presents their annual night cruise. Aboard the Rum Runner 2. Let's get ready to sail the seas with the National Democratic Congress, St. Patrick's East and West, DJ Danny, with the best music to keep you rocking on the boat. Tickets $75 and includes eat. Boarding time 7 p.m. Boat sales at 8, and a solid bar awaits you. So gather your crew and gather your posse, and let's head aboard the Rum Runner 2 for the NDC St. Patrick East and West annual night cruise. Saturday, June 14th. Get your tickets at the NDC office, Main Street, Satel, or you can call 449-3275 for more info. NDC, putting people first. Jobs, healthcare, and empowerment.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's that time again. Get ready to turn up the energy and celebrate in style as NDC St. John proudly presents the most anticipated event of the summer. It's Shake It to the Max. Shake It to the Max, the night cruise, all going down on Friday, June 20th. We take the vibe to another level. We celebrate another anniversary through transformation, a journey of progress, power, and pure party energy. We board the Kayak Princess on the Lance Jetty in Guam. Boarding time 7 p.m. and we sail 8 p.m. sharp. The hottest DJs will be on board. Selector Shaki, DJ I, Top Sound, Anil, and Juvie. Get your tickets for only $75. Get yours now from any St. John.
Get in here, get in here, get in here, people. Where are we going the 1st of June? This is this Sunday. We are heading across to Munich for the biggest cricket tournament ever hosted in St. Andrews. So we're talking from 11 to 3:30 p.m. We will be having lovely cricket. So come out in your numbers to Munich playing field for the biggest cricket tournament ever. Come out and support the bars. Come out and support the cricketers. Come out with your families. Come out with your friends, because we are inside Munich for the biggest cricket tournament ever.
On the behalf of Supreme Entertainment, we'd like to invite everyone to the opening of the Munich T12 cricket competition. It started on Sunday, May 25th, and continues every Sunday until August.
Welcome back to the NDC Heartbeat podcast for today's Sunday, and in studio with me is Senator the Honorable Claudette Joseph. She's Attorney General and Minister responsible for Legal Affairs, Labor and Consumer Affairs. Senator, when we took the break, I had asked you to bring us up to speed on Grenada's upcoming participation in the IP assemblies. So explain to us what IP means for the benefit of our listeners, and who is going to be participating and what are the expectations?
Right, so IP means intellectual property.
Intellectual property.
And the World Intellectual Property Organization, that's WIPO, that is the organization, the international organization under the United Nations umbrella responsible for intellectual property.
Right.
And so, as Minister for Legal Affairs, the Office of Corporate Affairs and Intellectual Property, that's CAIPO,
right.
that falls under my portfolio.
Okay.
So intellectual property.
Explain to the grassroots man what it really means, intellectual property.
Intellectual property is anything that a person creates.
Right.
So
Music,
it's intangible.
dance,
So it's music, it's dance choreography, it's design, apparel, clothing and so, fashion design. It's literature, it's literary works, books and poems and plays and anything creative.
Right.
Right? It's also branding,
Yep.
trademarks, and industrial designs.
Okay. So it falls
It's-
squarely into the government's policy on creative development.
Creative, right. It's creative, trademarks, anything, brands, whatever. So that's people, the persons who create these things, designs, anything, patents, right? So if you invent something, all of that is intellectual property.
Right.
These are intangible rights, so you can't feel and touch them, but they are also inalienable, meaning you can't deprive people
Yeah.
of the intellectual property rights without paying for it. That's why you have to pay to use the artist's work. That's why they get royalties when an artist will get a royalty when his works, his music and so is used.
Also
so this
for
is
those who create apps, that's
all of that,
intellectual.
intellectual property. All of that is intellectual property.
Right.
And these are the rights you enjoy in your creations, whether it's music, art, an invention of a machinery, anything like that.
Right. Okay.
So annually, there is the international meeting, all 191 or so countries of the UN are also members of the World Intellectual Property Organization. And Grenada, again, since 2023 thereabouts, we have been receiving quite some attention from WIPO in terms of intellectual property. The last year, beginning of 2024, January 2023, we signed an agreement with, it came into effect January 2024. We signed an agreement with WIPO that would allow us to go on to the what is called the IPAS system. It's the international system that allows for integration of the various intellectual property offices globally, and enables us now to get onto the system that allows for international registration of trademarks. Okay. But in order to exploit that, we have one more step to take, which is to sign on to an international agreement, which is called a protocol, the Madrid Protocol. So we're in the process of doing that. And when we've done that and we are now onto the system, it will mean that a person in Germany can stay there and register a trademark in Grenada and designate Grenada as one of the countries in which the mark is to be registered without having to come here to register the mark. Okay. And our own creatives will have the privilege of doing the same. So they stay right here and they will register their work, their trademarks, and designate the countries.
Any part of the world they can designate.
Any part of the world that they want their mark to be protected. Right. So that's one of the things we're working on. But as I attended the International Labour Conference this week, I took the opportunity, and with the help of Ambassador Murdoch at the OECS mission in Geneva, met with the Deputy Director General and her team at the WIPO headquarters, because we are attending the WIPO assemblies next month. And one of the things we wanted to do, or one thing that at least I wanted to do, was to lay the groundwork for us to have a further conversation, so that we as Grenada, we can tap into some of the benefits. First of all, let me say we attend the conference next month, and we are going to be having an exhibition. A rare opportunity. I think we would only be the second Caribbean country to have the opportunity to have an exhibition, while 100 delegates from 191 countries are right there. And of course, we'll invite the other surrounding agencies like the World Health Organization and the ILO and all of those who are right around there. And we are going to be showcasing products from Grenada, focusing on nutmeg, cocoa, and rum. The reason why we are doing that is twofold. We are working on obtaining for Grenada a geographical indication, and that's another species of intellectual property right. Okay. A geographical indication is a product that is branded based on its origin, or its place of origin. Right. So like, for example, champagne. Whenever you think champagne, you think France, right? Yeah. So it promotes the country, it promotes the area in France where champagne, where the drink comes from. Or you could think of Blue Mountain, coffee, Jamaica. Yeah. Right. So that's what we want to do with our unique nutmeg, unique cocoa, and our special rum. Because in Grenada, for example, the River Antoine is the only mill in the Western Hemisphere, as far as I know. Over 200 years old. And it's really truly organic rum. Yep. So we have that uniqueness.
No, it's so
right?
strong.
Yes. I don't know. They say you don't get a hangover, but I don't know. Right?
You ain't tried for long enough.
Tried. And then we have our nutmeg, which we know is a unique strain and special, and cocoa. Right? So we want to, because Grenadian cocoa is extremely exotic, extremely high quality, and sought after out there, especially in a place like Switzerland that makes all the chocolate. So we are working on getting geographical indications for these products. And we thought that one way of promoting these products is to have an exhibition during the assemblies. This happens all the time. All the big countries do it, China, Saudi Arabia, Canada, the US or so, when they want to promote any aspect of their intellectual property. So we've we've given a nice spot, and we are going to be doing that. The other thing is, as you heard earlier, we managed this year to get soca artist Vaughn recognized as a global intellectual property ambassador.
Great.
So he's a WIPO youth ambassador. Now this is a big deal. This honor, they started it in this program in 2000, where every few years they would name a world youth ambassador for intellectual property.
Okay.
Vaughn is the first person from the Western Hemisphere to be named a youth ambassador. And how did WIPO get to know Vaughn? Because we introduced him as one of the persons that we were going to have perform during our exhibition, the same exhibition I was just telling you about.
Right.
We were supposed to have it since last year to mark our 50th anniversary.
Right.
But Beryl struck just before, so we didn't go again. So he was on the program to perform because we're going to be promoting some of our local artists as well. And they were so impressed with him, they assisted us to have him go through the process of being accredited as a World Youth IP Ambassador. And he's one of the first musicians. Normally they do inventors and that kind of thing, but he's one of the first musicians and the first in the West. Not even the great US ever had a person
major.
named.
We take these things for granted, but this is a major accomplishment.
Yeah, so Vaughn will be receiving his ambassadorial credentials during the assemblies. So he's going to be meeting the Director General of WIPO. And of course, we're going to be having a live performance by Vaughn and his band. It was a
Jamaican that was chosen. You wouldn't hear the end of it. Every morning you wake up, you're hearing it, you know.
Well, even the Jamaicans, all of them, the Jamaicans, the Trinis and things, all of them, they ask, how that happened? I say, because he's good. Y'all think you're good, but we know we're the best. And the world knows it. So it is a fantastic honor bestowed on Vaughn individually, and also, it would serve as an inspiration for other young artists.
Absolutely.
A great platform for him. He will have great international reach and opportunities, and of course we congratulate him. And of course it's even greater for Grenada, putting us on the map.
Yeah.
So he's going to receive his credentials. We're going to do our exhibition. And in the meeting with the Deputy Director General that I had last week, Tuesday or Wednesday it was, last week, while in Geneva, they actually wanted to find out from us how they could assist us further with promoting our creatives and helping our creatives to understand the rights they have in their creations, the intellectual property rights they have, and how they can leverage those rights as an income stream and to expand their reach and, to become more global and accessible, to market themselves better. So we had a nice preliminary meeting.
That's terrific.
Yes, and we are going to the assemblies together with the Office of Creative Affairs, because while we are CAIPO and legally responsible for all intellectual property, we have the Office of Creative Affairs, which is something that many other Caribbean countries don't have. And so we want to use work together with the Office of Creative Affairs to collaborate with WIPO so that WIPO can work with the Office of Creative Affairs in helping our artists to elevate, because that's exactly why our government set up the Office of Creative Affairs in the first place. So it's all about helping our artists take their art and their creativity to the next level.
So it looks like our artists now can legally claim royalties.
Right, so
on their music.
Yes, there is.
Sit back here and just cash in.
Yes.
Royalties, this is my account number, pay up.
Yeah. So and in fact, that's one of the things I discussed with the director. There's a platform that WIPO has recently developed that helps artists to realize the fruits of their work and their creativity. And I didn't get the full details as to how it works, but in a nutshell, what it does is that once the artists register on that platform, WIPO ensures that wherever in the world their work is used, their music is exploited, the royalties are collected and remitted to the artists.
It sounds technical and almost magical.
Yeah.
But with technology
Oh, yeah,
today,
yeah. That's what it
the
is.
digital economy and digitization, you don't have to count.
Yeah,
The
it's
machine does
actually
it for
it's
you.
actually an application. It's an app
There's
that,
an app
that
for it.
WIPO developed.
Yep.
And the artists sign on. A lot of the Afrobeats guys and a lot of the artists and so sign on to the app. And
Exactly. So
your
wherever the music
royalties
is
are
played,
assured,
any part of the world, they get, whether if it's $1 for every song that is played, it adds up.
But they really want to help us with letting our artists, getting our artists to appreciate and utilize their creative works and to exploit it to its maximum.
Right.
Also, there's a program we are working on with women entrepreneurs, helping women with branding and marketing and, you know, and selling their products and so. And so there are lots of opportunities out there. And I really look forward to going to Geneva with the registrar of CAIPO and the team from the Office of Creative Affairs. And starting to work on bringing real and tangible benefits for our young creatives.
That is really mind-blowing indeed. This obviously is a first for Grenada and a first for the artists.
Definitely. Now, I'm sure we're going to start seeing some other IPM ambassadors coming out of Jamaica and Trinidad, because they're asking, well, how did you all manage that?
Well,
I say, isn't Vaughan good? They say, yes. I say, right.
I know the Jamaicans will be, they're very feisty.
Yes.
Well, how you get that? We want that too.
So, but it's good. It's good for the Caribbean.
Yeah,
it's good for, because a lot of the artists and so didn't even know about the possibility of being appointed a World Youth Ambassador.
Yeah.
And they were very excited. I'm telling you, the hierarchy of WIPO, when I met them, they're very excited about Vaughan because they find he's so talented. And they hadn't used a musician before as a world IP ambassador. They use more people in branding and create, you know, design and invention and so, but not music.
Absolutely. So congratulations again on this initiative.
Thank you.
Hope that it
So we look forward to
Great.
attending and reporting to the people of Grenada on how our press sec is intended to join us.
Fantastic.
So I guess we'll have regular reporting once we are there.
We would look forward to lively reporting on the matter.
Yes.
Time is quickly catching up with us. We have about 5-6 minutes left.
Oh Lord.
Yeah, time flies.
Yeah.
And well, first of all, I want to say to those listening on radio, naturally we'll go beyond the 1 o'clock hour, please join us on our online platform. Tell us about what's been happening in your constituency and the various projects you have been engaged in, etc., before the time closes off on us.
Right, so let me be technically correct. The Member of Parliament, I'm not a Member of Parliament, as everybody knows, but I'm the face of the government in the constituency, having contested a seat for the National Democratic Congress, which of course we know is the party in office now, and being from the community, very connected there, and being the person in government and in the NDC with the responsibility for looking out for the interests of the people of the town of St. George. And special Sunday afternoon to all of the lovely people of the town of St. George. I just want to say that we have been making great strides in the constituency. What I have been focusing on is especially in the Darbo, River Road, and Cemetery Hill, and to a lesser extent the Montrush area, enhancing access to homes. If you stay down on the main road in River Road and you look up, you will see some houses way up in the hills. Same is true for Cemetery Hill and Dabo. And you wonder how people accessing their homes. The truth is, in many instances, they walk through mud, some mega stones, you know, we have jumped stones, and sometimes it's gullies created by the runoff from the hills. Very, very uncomfortable and treacherous means of access and egress to and from their homes. And in a lot of instances, you have the elderly, you have little children, you have people with varying levels of infirmity or disability, people who have issues and so. So, I mean, and even myself, going up there campaigning, sometimes I wonder, well, how I get reaching, I know I want to go to each house, but you can't see the way how you're getting up there, you know. So I've set about in the last year or more, making sure we create proper access by building roads, so there's a secondary roads, steps, walkways.
Right.
And these initiatives have been really, really appreciated. And as far as the people are concerned, I just finished one up Gretna Green. You can't recognize the place. Before and after is stark. And this was a project that the guys from the Ministry of Infrastructure said, look, Senator, this one, we're not sure we could do this. It's impossible because they're among the big rocks. And so I say, and you have a machine that could break up rocks and things? They say, yes. So I bring the machine, break up the rocks, let's get it done. Yeah. And so we've been doing quite a lot of those. We've done about 3 or 4 in River Road. We have one ongoing. We're going to do 2 major access roads inside Dabo, starting very, very soon. We did one already, but the 2, they are going to be transformative once we hit those in Dabo.
Right.
There's one about to begin at Cemetery Hill, and lots more, you know, smaller projects around the constituency. We have identified the Woolwich Road rehabilitation as one of the major projects we are going to tackle during the course of this year. We plan to do that. You know the situation with Woolwich Road, which is, I would say, like another millionaire waiting to happen. It has been slipping, and it's a major thoroughfare when you come off Archibald Avenue to connect with Lucas Street. Yes, breaking. So thanks to the support from the Minister for Infrastructure, Prime Minister, we've identified that as one of the major roads we're going to tackle this year.
Yeah.
We have to do some rehabilitative and restorative work on the Carenage. That is in the making.
Another major.
We have another major one to do at Tempe, behind the Choice Bakery there, you know that area there as you come off Dollar Savers by the bridge?
Yeah.
Right, the road there is broken, and the heavy rains we got recently didn't help. So that is one that's going to start soon. And we have a lot of these little infrastructure works going around, small, medium, large. We did a good size one at 4 Roads, recently just finished Grenville Street. That piece of Grenville Street was actually slipping down onto Melville Street.
Yeah.
Right, because the town has been so neglected. It's a lot to do. So we got that finished. And also the sporting facilities, right? We're working on Queen's Park. Quite a bit we've done there already. We've enhanced the basketball and netball court, given it the facelift, fencing, bleachers. We've installed new lights at the playing field at Queen's Park and turned those on 2 Mondays ago. And then we are building change room, meeting room, pavilion. Because the thing about it, you know, whereas you go to the Woburn playing field, you go to Fawn, you go to all the other playing field, canteen, they have a little pavilion, they have bleachers, they have bathroom facilities, they have lighting. Queen's Park had none of that. Because I think people are thinking that Queen's Park is at the stadium, the people in River Road, the stadium is right there. Yeah. But that's not the case. Remember, the stadium, it's not open to the public, it's not open to the community. You have to pay to use the stadium. Whenever you have an activity there, it's a few $1,000s well. Yeah. So it is not a space that the community of River Road Mount Rush, Sanssouci, Cemetery Hill, surrounding areas have access to.
So it's a national commercial space.
No, it's a commercial space, right. So the playground by Wesley College is all they have. So we are doing some much needed upgrade and installation of facilities there.
Right.
We are getting there, and I know the people are very happy with it, and look forward very much to that being completed. So we have, then we're going to go on to Old Trafford. We started and had to stop because of some technical issues there with the water table. So we have to get back to Old Trafford, but the engineers and so had to go back to the drawing board. So Old Trafford, we're coming your way real soon. And then you have the other community.
Let me just
projects.
take a moment up to say thank you to all those who joined us on radio today, and continue. You can join us online, NDC Heartbeat online Facebook platform, also on YouTube. So we'll be continuing this conversation with Senator Claudette Joseph. So yes, please.
Yes,
continue.
right. And then you have other, so these are infrastructure projects and community enhancement project. That's a physical. I just want to add to that some facilities for pan wizards. We are preparing facilities in the same yard as GFA by the old sawmill.
Yeah.
Right. We are. If you see some work going on there when you pass by, that's for the blast pan wizards. And speaking of community groups, as we enhance the community spaces, we also have to have interactions with the group and help the groups to grow and expand and become more positive forces in the community. So to that end, I am hosting the second annual Pan Fest.
Right.
We Pan Fest.
We Pan Fest.
Yes.
Last year was very successful.
And last year was really successful, and this year it's going to be even better. We have all of the bands from the constituency. So we have the reigning panorama champions, Next and New Dimensions. We have Blast Pan Wizards. They came second in the bomb tune. And I think they came second in panorama too last year. Yes. And then we have Republic Band the Angel Harps. Well, you know, that's a band from where I come from.
All right.
The Wharf Band.
Do you play pan?
I used to play a long time. It's been a while. But I played a little bit with harps. And then when I went to Cave Hill, I was part of the steel band, the inaugural steel band on Cave Hill.
Yeah.
Pan Vibes. So yes.
Yeah.
And so harps, and then we have Comancheros coming through so it's going to be a really nice activity. We also have on stage Blackadan, our international soca monarch, and Blackadan debuted his blessing at PanFest last year. That was the first place. He sang the song. He tried it out, and it was a hit from then. So he's coming back to perform with PanFest this year again. We have Dash, we have LED, we have Young Pert, we have Rootsman Kelly, we have
a lot of artists.
We have from Dabo, my good dear friend from Dabo, Lynette, Temptress.
So
right?
Be there.
She
you
will be
also
there.
have someone else in that era up there, you know.
Yeah, well, Lasho.
He's not a singer. He just sings your praises. I'm sure you know who he is.
I have a few of them.
The great former basketballer on the Carnage.
Oh, okay. Oh, God, no good boy. Hi, German. Good afternoon. How you doing?
German.
I know you're listening. German, I know you're listening.
He sings your praises all the time, all radio stations.
So we have all these wonderful artists coming through, and if you notice the names, we have the big ones. We have Dash and Blackadan and Rootsman Kelly and Tempress and so. But we want to focus too on the up and coming artists from the constituency. And they did a wonderful job last year, and some of them are coming back this year with a couple new ones. So I'm inviting everybody, and we have vendors, food vendors, and arts and craft vendors.
Great.
We try to focus again on people from the constituency, but we do have a few who are not necessarily directly from the constituency. So that is a community event, bringing all the community together on Father's Day. So we are going to be honoring our fathers.
Fantastic.
Last year we had some special treats and so for them. We plan to do the same this year.
Wonderful.
So I invite everyone to come out next Sunday, Father's Day, on the Carnage between 4 and 9.
What part of the Carnage?
Right in front Pizza Hut on the plaza.
So right, okay.
On the plaza. And this afternoon, the Next New Dimensions, they're having an event at their Panyard on Melville Street.
Right.
So I'm inviting the community to come out and support the New Dimensions as they get ready for Panorama. They call it Sizzle and Steel. And they have all their sister bands, so you have all the other bands from the community and around Grenada. I think they have other bands there this afternoon.
Right.
Because you see, events like what they're having this afternoon, Sizzle and Steel, Panfest that I'm going to host next week, that's all to help with the build-up to Panorama, to create more interest in the National Steel Band competition, also to promote positivity among our young people. We want our young people to get involved in positive ventures and activities, and also to build the community spirit around the town of St. George.
Right. Absolutely.
So looking forward to all of these things.
Lots been
and
happening.
then we have one more thing coming up. July 26th. The constituency of the town of St. George.
Right.
We will be having a cruise, a day cruise on the Runner.
Lots of
It will be a carnival warm-up cruise in July.
The Prime Minister's cruise on the 22nd. I mean, here's
Yes.
almost sold out.
Well,
So
I'll be there.
make sure and get your tickets
Definitely,
early.
yes. So the Prime Minister has a cruise, St. Patrick's East and West has a cruise on the 14th. Then we have Panfest. Then we have our cruise on the 26th of July. So in the National Democratic Congress, we are busy.
Lots of things happening.
We are community-oriented. We are in touch with our people. We are constantly doing right by our people, trying to build a better Grenada, trying to make good citizens of our young people. And we're not perfect, so we wouldn't get everything right. But I know that the people of Grenada are pleased with our performance so far, and that inspires us to do even better.
Fantastic. Well, thank you so much for being part of the Heartbeat today. I highly appreciate the conversation we have had and the very important information which you have shared.
Thank you.
I think the public will be highly appreciative of it.
Thank you.
And I'm almost certain that the local media houses will be picking up a lot of clips from your statements here today.
Yeah, I hope so too, because it's all good and it's all good for Grenada, and that's what we are here about, trying to do good for Grenada.
Fantastic.
And hoping that the nation will come along with us, and we all work together in the interest of our people.
Wonderful. Well, let me give you 30 seconds for your closing remarks.
Okay. Well, thank you once again, Terry, and thank you to all of the viewers and listeners of the Heartbeat program. We thank you for your loyalty, because I know there are some people who have been listening to Heartbeat for years. It is really indeed humbling for me, an honor and a privilege to be in this position where I can serve the people of Grenada and do so in so many capacities. I thank the Prime Minister for the confidence that he has reposed in me. And I would like to particularly thank the Prime Minister, the Minister for MIT, and the Minister for Social and Community Development, Ministers Williams, Gloria Thomas, and Honorable Deacon Mitchell. The reason why I say that is that all that I've been able to get done in the constituency of the town of St. George come under one of these three portfolios. And all three of them have been very, very supportive in helping me do good and to serve the people of the town of St. George. And it's a constituency that really and truly has been neglected in so many different ways. And I mean, it hosts our capital, the constituency hosts our capital, but there's so much to be done. So all of the projects, of the community initiatives, whether it's the hydroponics or the PanFest or the, you get support from the various ministries to do these things, the community projects, MIT, infrastructure, and so. So I would really like to thank these ministers and their respective staff for the support that they have given over the last 2.5 years to make sure that the government of Grenada delivers in the constituency. And thanks to all my colleagues for helping to roll out, and staff at the Ministry of Labor, Legal Affairs, Consumer Affairs, to do all the good stuff that we have been doing in those ministries, because I'm just an individual. A lot of the heavy lifting is done by the technocrats in the ministry. So thank you very much to everyone who made these successes possible.
Well, of course, you have a very strong team working with you in the constituency.
Yes,
and
yes, man. Strong, loyal, dependable.
Camaraderie of your colleagues in cabinet certainly augurs well for that kind of progress.
Indeed.
So
very, very thankful for the team.
Yes.
I call them the tongue team in the constituency. These are people who have been there for a long time. Some of them, I met them in the branch when I joined, when I became the caretaker. So I'm really grateful for all the support that I've gotten from all the different areas, including members in the private sector who help to make things like PanFest possible. Because I go about and ask for donations and so, and they make it possible.
Fantastic.
So thank you very much, everyone.
Well, thank you for being part of the
Thank you very much.
And come again when there's other exciting news to share.
I certainly will.
And we look forward to when you return from your IP conference.
Yes.
So that we can chat further about it and the successes which our artists will be benefiting from based on their creativity.
Thank you.
The music.
Thank you very much.
And thank you all for joining the Heartbeat today, and join us again next Sunday when we'll have an equally stimulating conversation to be had here. So have a great Sunday afternoon and see you again next week. Have a good one.
This Father's Day, celebrate with rhythm and culture at We PanFest, Sunday 15 June from 4 p.m. to 9 p.m. on the Coronage. Enjoy your favorite steel bands, Next and New Dimension, Republic Bank Angel Harps, Last Pan Wizards, Corp Bank Comancheros, alongside performances from Dash, Black Adan, Rootsman Kelly, Temptress, Chaos, LED, Young Pert, Young Mad, and DJ Danny. Food, drinks, and local products on sale. Admission is free. Celebrate Dad in true Grenadian style at We PanFest, hosted by Senator Claudette Joseph and the town community. It's We PanFest, Pedestrian Plaza, the Coronage, Sunday, June 15th.
On Saturday, June 14th, get ready as the NDC St. Patrick's East and West presents their annual night cruise. Their annual night cruise aboard the Rum Runner 2. Let's get ready to sail the seas with the National Democratic Congress, St. Patrick's East and West, DJ Danny, with the best music to keep you rocking on the boat. Tickets $75 and includes eat. Boarding time 7 p.m. Boat sales at 8, and a solid bar awaits you. So gather your crew and gather your posse, and let's head aboard the Rum Runner 2 for the NDC St. Patrick East and West Annual Night Cruise. Saturday, June 14th. Get your tickets at the NDC office, Main Street, Satel, or you can call 449-3275 for more info. NDC, putting people first. Jobs, healthcare, and empowerment.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's that time again. Get ready to turn up the energy and celebrate in style as NDC St. John proudly presents the most anticipated event of the summer. It's Shake It to the Max. Shake It to the Max, the night cruise, all going down on Friday, June 20th. We take the vibe to another level. We celebrate another anniversary through transformation, a journey of progress, power, and pure party energy. We board the Kayak Princess on the Lance Jetty in Guam. Boarding time 7 p.m. and we sail 8 p.m. sharp. The hottest DJs will be on board. Selector Shaki, DJ I, Top Sound, Anil, and Juvie. Get your tickets for only $75. Get yours now from any St. John.